Well, hello and welcome to News Hour on Voice of the People TV. I am Vivian Oguche. Before we begin, though, kindly visit our website at www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. First, the headlines. Senate sets up Oversight Committee for Rivers Administrator. Kanu family slams media over trial misrepresentation. Senate to consider tax reform bills report on Wednesday. The Senate moves to convoke a National Security Summit. Secure data sharing key to Africa's growth, says VP Shetima. On the foreign scene, Canada never for sale, Carney tells Trump. In business news, government's CBN deposits rise 46% to 24.9 trillion naira. In entertainment news, Ira Star earns platinum certification in UK with Rush. In sports news, Eagles coach targets 3 points against Kenya. And now the news in detail. The Senate has constituted a committee to oversee the activities of sole administrator of Rivers State, Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas retired. Senate President Godswill Akpabio disclosed this at the resumption of plenary on Tuesday. According to him, the committee was constituted to strengthen transparency and accountability in the governance of rivers during the state of emergency period. He stated that the 18-member committee has Senate leader Senator Opeyemi Bamidele as its chairman. Akpabio added that the composition of the committee could be subject to review following further consultations. Members of the committee include Senators Adamu Alero, Osita Izunaso, Osita Ungu, Kaka Shehu, Aminu Abbas, Tokumbo Abiru, Adeni Adebire, Sani Musa, Simon Lalong, Asukwo Ekpeyong, Adams Oshomole, Ireti Kingibe, Onyekachi, Idi Atabule, Ide Dafinone, and Mohammed, alongside the clerk of the Senate. Now, President Bola Tinubu swore in Ibas as the sole administrator of Rivers on the 19th of March. This followed the declaration of state of emergency in the state and suspension of Governors Minalayi Fubara and the Rivers State House of Assembly for 6 months. And now the family of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has condemned what it calls deliberate misrepresentation of court proceedings in his ongoing terrorism trial by certain media outlets. In a statement signed by Emmanuel Kanu, the family described an article titled Nnamdi Kanu admitted inciting public to attack police, witness tells court, as a blatant distortion aimed at misleading the public and damaging Kanu's global reputation. This disgraceful journalism reflects a disturbing trend of anti-Biafra and Igbo-hating sentiments that prioritize sensationalism over factual reporting, Emmanuel stated. The family highlighted the May 6, 2025 hearing at the Federal High Court in Abuja, presided over by Justice James Omotosho, where the cross-examination of the prosecution's witness, PWAA, from the Department of State Services exposed significant weaknesses. The witness admitted ignorance of key details, including the original 15-count charge against Kanu, the striking out of several charges, and specific allegations of inciting attacks on government properties in Lagos. To the Red Chamber now, the Senate will on Wednesday begin the consideration and possible passage of the tax reforms bills. Senate President Godswill Akpabio disclosed this during plenary following the resumption of the Red Chamber from its Salah and Easter break. The report on the 4 bills were on Tuesday laid before the Senate by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance, Mohammed Sani Musa. Akpabio urged the committee to distribute copies of the report to all senators to enable them to study it and be able to make informed contributions during the consideration. Meanwhile, concerned by the worsening state of insecurity across the country, the Senate on Tuesday resolved to convene a 2-day National Security Summit aimed at proffering actionable solutions to the growing menace. The resolution followed the adoption of a motion titled Urgent Need for a National Security Summit, sponsored by Senator Jimoh Ibrahim, who represents Ondo South Senatorial District. Presenting the motion during plenary, Senator Ibrahim attributed Nigeria's security challenges to evolving global dynamics, including the Russia-Ukraine war, America's tariff battles, and shifting global power balances. He said recent events in our region have triggered widespread insecurity, threatening the past achievements of our security forces, while the military and its partners are working tirelessly. They cannot single-handedly solve the global economic conflicts or the ripple effects of rising tensions between the U.S. and China. As a result, insecurity has become pervasive across Nigeria, affecting both urban and rural communities, with banditry, kidnappings for ransom, terrorism, and other violent crimes posing serious threats. In his contribution, Senator Abdul Ningi lamented the daily loss of servicemen to banditry and called for a holistic overhaul of the nation's security architecture. And now, Vice President Kashim Shettima has called on African nations to prioritize data safety and security as a catalyst for the continent's socio-economic advancement. Speaking at the 8th edition of the Network of Africa Data Protection Authorities 2025 in Abuja on Tuesday, Shettima emphasized the need for collaboration among African data protection institutions to foster a secure, lawful data sharing ecosystem. Represented by Senator Ibrahim Hadija, a Deputy Chief of Staff to President Bola Tinubu, the Vice President said Africa stands to benefit significantly when data is shared responsibly across borders. The federal government also used the occasion to launch the Nigeria Virtual Privacy Academy, an initiative aimed at enhancing data privacy education. The event, held at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel, brought together participants from over 30 African countries alongside delegates from Europe, Asia, the Middle East, and the United States. With the theme Balancing Innovation in Africa, Data Protection and Privacy in Emerging Technologies, the three-day conference explores strategies to align technological growth with privacy rights. And now, the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, has called for effective mechanisms to enhance ECOWAS countries' ability to prevent and counter terrorist improvised explosive devices, IEDs, by terrorist groups. He said terrorism knows no bounds, stressing that collaborative efforts by key stakeholders were crucial to confronting and defeating the menace. Ribadu said this on Tuesday at the opening of the stakeholders meeting on consolidating collaborative efforts to prevent and counter the acquisition and use of IED by terrorist groups in West Africa on Tuesday in Abuja. Represented by Mohammed Sanusi, Permanent Secretary, Special Services Office of the National Security Advisor, the NSA said the regional meeting serves as a platform for all members to share knowledge, best practices, and experiences in addressing the threats of IEDs. And now, former Chief Whip of the Senate, Senator Mohammed Ali Ndume, on Tuesday commended President Bola Tinubu's ban on importation of foreign goods. Recalled that the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, had on Monday, while briefing newsmen at the end of the Federal Executive Council meeting, disclosed that the federal government has placed a ban on the importation of foreign goods. The federal government also placed a caveat on expatriates coming into Nigeria to execute jobs that local contractors and artisans can undertake unless there is convincing justification for it, including express permission from the Bureau of Public Procurement, BPP. Idris, who described the decision as a landmark, said it was aimed at strengthening Nigeria's domestic economy and promoting local content. He also noted that it was in line with a sweeping new policy framework tagged the Renewed Hope Nigeria First policy. Ndume, in a statement, said the bold initiative by President Tinubu would go a long way in promoting indigenous entrepreneurs, boosting the local economy, and generating employment for Nigerians. Well, electoral matters now. The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, and the Minister of State for Housing and Urban Development, Yusuf Atta, have said that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu does not need the support of Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso to win Kano State in the 2027 general elections. Speaking on Tuesday at the APC National Secretariat in Abuja, where the minister paid a courtesy visit to Ganduje, both leaders dismissed the political relevance of Kwankwaso, the 2023 presidential candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, describing him as a stranded politician. Ganduje, who is Kwankwaso's predecessor as Kano State governor, said, quote, "When a fish is running out of water, that's exactly what is happening. If the water is drying, the fish has to find its way into the water. So that is what is happening." End of quote. He added that while the APC is not outrightly rejecting Kwankwaso's return, his re-entry would require humility and clearance. "I will not say we are not ready to welcome him," he said. He went on to say, "When you see your son running to where he would get shelter and you are a big brother in a big home, I think it is morally right to accommodate him. A friend in need is a friend indeed," Ganduje said. Now, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has confirmed that it is investigating social media personality Martins Innocent Otse, popularly known as Very Dark Man, in connection with multiple allegations of financial misconduct. In a statement issued on Tuesday, the Commission stated that the invitation extended to VDM was in line with its statutory mandate to investigate economic and financial crimes. The EFCC disclosed that the influencer was summoned following a series of petitions bordering on sundry issues of alleged financial crimes. The agency noted that despite repeated invitations sent through OSE's known addresses and communication channels, he failed to honor them. Very Dark Man refused to show up in spite of several invitations sent to him through his known addresses and medium of communication, the EFCC said. According to the anti-graft agency, the allegations raised against VDM are grave and warrant a thorough investigation. The Commission also condemned what it described as unguarded attacks by the suspect against its operations. Reaffirming its legal authority, the EFCC stated that it has the right to detain Otse as part of its investigative process. Meanwhile, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has traced money laundering activities in excess of 300,000 United States dollars to a suspected internet fraudster. EFCC spokesman Dele Oyewole, who confirmed this to newsmen in Abuja on Tuesday, said the investigation into the suspicious activities linked to the suspects is ongoing. He added that the suspect was among the 35 picked up on Sunday, the 4th of May, 2025, in Sabo Yako area of Auchi, Edo State, by the Commission, following credible intelligence that linked them to fraudulent internet activities. As a picker of Azaman in internet fraud lingo, investigations revealed that the suspect has collected and laundered over $300,000 for his syndicate members who are at large. Apart from internet fraud, EFCC's investigations revealed that the suspect is equally involved in investment and banking fraud. He will be charged to court as soon as investigation is concluded, Oyewole added. In a related development, Justice S.M. Mayana of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, High Court, sitting in Apo, Abuja on Monday, the 5th of May, 2025, convicted and sentenced one Daniel Ame to imprisonment for fraud. The convict was prosecuted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, on a one-count charge bordering on criminal misappropriation to the tune of 35 million naira, which ran contrary to Section 309 of the Penal Code and punishable under the same section, and to which he pleaded not guilty. In the course of the trial, prosecution counsel Ibrahim Buba called 3 witnesses and tendered relevant documents. Justice Mayana convicted and sentenced Ahmed to 2 years imprisonment or to pay 1 million naira fine. In addition to his jail term, he was ordered to pay the sum of 22 million naira in restitution to his victim, one in Nalegu, Egwa. Well, let's take you to Anambra State now, where government and security agencies have declared their readiness for the visit of President Bola Tinubu, scheduled for Thursday, the 8th of May, 2025. Final touches are currently being made on several key sites, including the new State Government Lodge, the Presidential Lodge, and the Okafon City, which are among the projects expected to be commissioned by the President during his one-day working visit. Speaking on Tuesday, the State Commissioner for Information, Dr. L.W. Mefo, said all hands were on deck to ensure the visit is successful and memorable. Security agencies have also intensified efforts to guarantee a safe environment for the visit. The Police Public Relations Officer in the state, DSP Tochukwu Ikenga, confirmed that the comprehensive security arrangements have been concluded. Well, coming up next, World News. Stay with us.
Good morning. It's the start of a beautiful day. Or start your day right with a healthy dose of news, fun, and inspiration. Join us on VOP this morning for the latest news, trending topics, and uplifting stories to set your day on the right vibe. From news and current events to lifestyle and entertainment, you are covered.
VOP This Morning, 8 a.m., Monday through Friday.
Step into a world where stories unfold, secrets unravel, and dreams come alive. Every story has a legacy. Every legacy holds the power to inspire. A unique interview series that celebrates the lives of Nigeria's elder statesmen and women through their remarkable journeys in the military, diplomacy, public service, academia, medicine, and beyond. Conversation that transcends generations, offering guidance to youth leaders, diplomats, technocrats, and future change makers. We unveil the wisdom, resilience, and achievements that shapes our nation and the world. Join us every Sunday on Voice of the People Television. Reminiscence, legacies that leads the way, stories that lives on.
Welcome back. World News now. With a defiance that shuts down President Donald Trump's repeated calls for Canada to become the 51st state of the United States, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has told Trump that his country will never be for sale. Carney's Liberal Party was elected following the country's anger at Trump's aggressive tariffs and insistence that Canada becomes a part of the U.S. Carney, who is on a visit to the U.S., said in the Oval Office on Tuesday that there are some places that are never for sale, adding that Canada is not for sale and won't be for sale ever. Responding, Trump replied, "Never say never." The exchange followed mostly cordial initial remarks between Trump and Carney, as both leaders kept a polite disposition while reiterating their positions. However, shortly before Carney's arrival at the White House, Trump had sharply questioned his country's trade relationship with Canada. He said on Truth social media that he was looking forward to meeting and working with Carney, but cannot understand why the U.S. was subsidizing Canada by $200 billion a year, in addition to giving them free military protection and many other things. Now, Conservative leader Friedrich Merz won a second-chance vote in Parliament on Tuesday to become Germany's Chancellor, rebounding from a morning defeat that had threatened to hobble the next government before it was even sworn into office. Merz was set to immediately begin the ceremonial tasks of assuming the country's top leadership post, which were delayed half a day by the events in Parliament before embarking for Paris and Warsaw on Wednesday to meet with key allies. The vote was a relief for the 69-year-old leader of the center-right Christian Democrats, which finished first in national elections in February. In a surprising and demoralizing setback, he had fallen 6 votes short of the chancellery in the initial vote. It was the first time a chancellor candidate had failed to win in the first round of voting since the founding of modern Germany. However, rival parties agreed to allow him a second chance at the job on an accelerated timetable, with many saying they were concerned for the stability of the country at a critical time for Germany and Europe. Now, cardinals to participate in the conclave to choose Pope Francis's successor have started settling into 2 hotels in the Vatican where they will be shut off from the outside world. Some cardinals are looking for a new pope who will continue with Francis's push for a more transparent, welcoming church, while others are seeking retrenchment to more traditional roots that put a premium on doctrine. The conclave, which begins Wednesday afternoon behind closed doors in the Sistine Chapel, will now allow all cardinals under 80 to cast their votes for the next head of the 1.4 billion member Catholic Church. Meanwhile, some of the 133 cardinals who are anticipated to cast ballots in the conclave have stated that they are unsure about the next pope, in spite of a few names being mentioned as potential front-runners. The Archbishop of Washington, D.C., Cardinal Robert McElroy, disclosed during a visit to a parish in Rome that he has no guess on who will be the next pope. He explained that the conclave process is profound and mysterious, adding that he cannot give insights into who is ahead. Now, away from that story, Russia and Ukraine handed over 205 captured soldiers each in a prisoner of war swap brokered by the United Arab Emirates as part of ongoing ceasefire talks. This comes as Russia still plans a 72-hour ceasefire between May 8 and 10 for its Victory Day celebration. Kremlin and Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky confirmed the news on social media, sharing images of the freed soldiers hugging loved ones and holding aloft the country's flag. Zelensky said their people, now free and back home, had been scattered across many Russian regions, imprisoned within a system which only purpose was to torment them and destroy their humanity. According to Ukraine's Prisoners of War Affairs Organization, the returned prisoners consisted of 202 enlisted men and 3 officers from various parts of the military and National Guard. Russia's defense ministry confirmed that its soldiers had also been released by Ukraine and were currently in Belarus undergoing medical and psychological checkups. Zelensky, as well as Russia, also thanked the UAE for their mediation and support in the prisoner exchange deal. Well, in another development, Israeli air raids struck Yemen's main airport and power stations in the Sana'a area, the last retaliation for a missile attack by the Iran-backed militants. Houthi media and Israel's military confirmed the strikes, which sent plumes of smoke rising from several areas, including the airport. According to an Israeli military statement, fighter jets struck and dismantled Houthi terrorist infrastructure at the main airport in Sana'a and hit several central power plants within the capital. The strikes followed the Iran-backed Houthis' missile attack on Israel's main airport on Sunday, which for the first time penetrated the perimeter, leaving a large crater near a car park. Just before Tuesday's attacks, Israel's military urged Yemeni civilians to immediately evacuate the airport and stay away from the area, with military spokesman Avikai Adrei warning on X in Arabic that failure to evacuate might put them at risk. It added that Tuesday's raids hit several locations, including Sana'a Airport, 3 power stations in and around the capital, and a cement factory in Amman. Well, to other news now, India and the United Kingdom have concluded a long-coveted free trade pact in a landmark deal that represents London's most significant post-Brexit agreement. The deal between the world's 5th and 6th largest economies was finalized in the shadow of United States President Donald Trump's tariff increases. It came after 3 years of stop-start negotiations and aims to increase bilateral trade by a further £25.5 billion by 2040, with liberal market access and eased trade restrictions. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi said on X that the landmark agreements will further deepen their comprehensive strategic partnership and catalyze trade, investment, growth, job creation and innovation in both economies. The deal lowers tariffs on goods such as whiskey, advanced manufacturing parts, and food products such as lamb, salmon, chocolates, and biscuits. It also agrees to quotas on both sides for auto imports. Both countries are also seeking bilateral deals with the United States to remove some of Trump's tariffs that have upended the global trade system. The resulting turmoil sharpened focus in both London and New Delhi on the need to clinch a UK-India trade deal. Meanwhile, global debt reached a new high in the first 3 months of 2025, rising by about $7.5 trillion to hit over $224 trillion, according to data from the Institute of International Finance. China, France, and Germany contributed the most to the increase, while debt levels decreased in Canada, the United Arab Emirates, and Turkey. Emerging markets also saw a record high in their debt-to-output ratio. The IAF further noted that while the sharp depreciation of the US dollar against major trading partners contributed to the increase in the USD value of debt, the first quarter rise more than quadrupled the average quarterly increase of $1.7 trillion, which is observed since the end of 2022. Furthermore, the global debt-to-output ratio continued to slowly crawl lower, standing just below or above, 325%, though the ratio hit a record high at 245% in emerging markets. IIF further revealed that the total debt in emerging markets rose by over $3.5 trillion in the first quarter to a record high of over $106 trillion, with China accounting for over $2 trillion of the rise. Well, coming up next, a business, sports, entertainment news after this short break. Stay with us.
Extraordinary. Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV, now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Welcome back. Business news now. Government deposits with the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, grew by 46.9% year-on-year to 24.9 trillion naira in 2024 from 16.94 trillion naira in 2023. This is contained in this recently released financial statement of the CBN. The growth in government deposits reflects the increase in money supply during the review period. Data from the CBN Money and Credit Statistics showed that money supply grew by 42.4% to 133 trillion naira in 2024 from 79.3 trillion naira in 2024, reflecting the impact of inflationary pressure. The period saw the CBN implementing various measures to absorb excess liquidity and manage inflation. According to the data, the government deposits comprised deposits in capital and settlement accounts, which stood at 14.6 trillion naira in 2024 rising by 78% year-on-year from 8.2 trillion naira in 2023. Deposits in domiciliary accounts rose by 138.6% year-on-year to 8.83 trillion naira from 3.7 trillion naira in 2023. However, government deposits in other accounts fell by 71.6% to 1.43 trillion naira from 5.04 trillion naira in 2023. Now, Abia State Government and the Bank of Industry (BOI) are partnering to provide a 10 billion naira counterpart funding for small and medium enterprises (SMEs) in the state. Commissioner for Information OK Kanu, who made this known at Government House, Umahia, while briefing journalists, said the move was to empower and support SMEs in Abia. Abia State Government has provided the matching funds in a 10 billion naira Abia State Government Bank of Industry Fund for SMEs in the state. This fund is meant to be accessed by SMEs across various sectors. The state government has paid up its counterpart funds for 2 billion naira, and Bank of Industry will provide the outstanding 3 billion naira, bringing it all to a total sum of 5 billion naira in the first phase. The figure of the second phase will also be in the like sum. In a bid to reduce poverty and provide empowerment for the women in the state, Kanu said the State Ministry of Women Affairs, through its Livelihood Collective project, has built 60 sites comprising Gari and oil palm processing sites across the 3 senatorial zones of the state. He disclosed that 21 of the sites are at Isiala, Ungwa North Local Government Area, 20 at Ubingwa Local Government Area, and 19 sites at Ohafa Local Government Area, respectively. Well, still business news. The Director General, Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency, SMEDEN, Charles Odi, has disclosed that Sterling Bank had provided 5 billion naira as loan for small and medium enterprises, SMEs, to upgrade their businesses, but only 250 million naira has so far been disbursed across the 36 states of the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory, FCT. The 5 billion naira is not a grant, but a loan to be accessed and paid back. The information was disclosed during the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding MOU between the two organizations, SMEDEN and Sterling Bank. Presently, a lot of small businesses are still finding it difficult to access this loan due to their lack of capacity and non-keeping of business records. Odi said the agency is experiencing a stunted disbursement of these loans, which was not expected at all, as he explained that the money was available but could not be accessed due to lack of capacity. The Director General, who spoke in Abuja, disclosed that SMEDEN was working through its business clinics to train more people and license them to increase their capacity to unlocking their businesses. In sports news, Flying Eagles head coach Aliu Zubairu says his team will go all out for a win against Kenya in their final Group B game at the 2025 Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations. The 7-time champions were held to a 0-0 draw by Morocco in their second group game at the June 30 Air Defense Stadium, Cairo, on Sunday night. Nigeria occupied the second position in the group with 4 points from 2 games. Zubairu's side needs to beat Kenya tomorrow to be sure of a place in the quarterfinal. Kenya are bottom of the group with 0 points. And now Super Eagles attacker Cyril Dessers is thrilled he has been able to score a goal in the fiercely contested Old Firm Derby against Celtic after going so close last season but had his strike ruled out. The Rangers forward scored the game's opening goal in the 44th minute before Adam Ida equalized for Celtic in the 57th minute. The Nigerian could not contain his joy. Scoring in an Old Firm match at Ibrox is an unbelievable feeling, Dessers told the club's media. I had one season that was ruled out, so this one felt amazing. Reflecting on the goal, he added, it was a beautiful team move. We broke quickly, and I saw Diomande pick me up, and Vaclav made a clever step over and read the situation perfectly. Dessers has now netted 25 goals in all competitions this season for Rangers with 7 assists from 52 games. For Sports, Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen has made it clear that he is not entertaining any transfer discussions until the end of the season. It is no longer news that the Super Eagles attacker is wanted by several top clubs in Europe, particularly Manchester United, Arsenal, Real Madrid, and a host of others, as well as a few Saudi clubs. Amid growing interest from top European and Saudi clubs, a close associate of the Napoli-owned forward, Bucci Laba, who is believed to have direct ties to Osimhen's camp, reacted to recent speculation linking the Super Eagles star with a move away from the Syria club. According to Laba, although clubs such as Al Hilal and Al Nasser from Saudi Arabia are keen on securing the forward's signature, Osimhen has shut down all transfer-related conversations. He further emphasized that Osimhen is fully committed to finishing the current campaign with Galatasaray and has no interest in being distracted by transfer rumors. Entertainment news now. Afrobeat sensation Ira Star has secured a major milestone with her 2022 hit single Rush, and in a UK platinum plaque certified by the British phonographic industry for surpassing 600,000 units in combined sales and streams. This achievement marks her as the first Nigerian female artist to debut a solo track on the UK official top 100, further solidifying her global influence. Rush, released in September 2022, has also garnered a diamond certification in France, adding to its impressive list of accolades. She made a stunning appearance at the 2025 Met Gala, embodying the theme Superfine, tailoring black style with a sleek minimalist gown. She also released her latest single, Gimme That, featuring Grammy-winning superstar Wizkid on the 25th of April 2025. Now, actress and filmmaker Iyabo Ojo has publicly addressed her recent interaction with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, regarding the spraying of money at her daughter's wedding. In a detailed Instagram post, Ojo confirmed she was invited by the EFCC and visited their office on the 5th of May 2025, following her return from the UK. She said she received numerous calls and messages from concerned individuals inquiring about the invitation and her well-being, prompting her to share her experience. During the EFCC visit, Ojo said she was questioned about her personal details, career, work experience, and businesses. The commission presented videos from her daughter's wedding showing guests, including colleagues and friends, spraying naira and foreign currencies. And our veteran Nigerian singer and music executive Yongo G, formerly known as Asha Gangali, has revealed reasons behind his new musical brand name as he released a new single titled Ebube. Yongo G is the brain behind Rock the Mic Africa, a popular talent hunt platform where raw talents are identified and nurtured to stardom. The singer stated that his musical journey as an Afrobeats artist and decade-long activism in the Nigerian music copyright segment contributed to his transition into this new brand, Yongo G, which is an embodiment of the Afrobeats culture. You know and appreciate this when you listen to my new single, Ebube, and other forthcoming records, he said. Yongo G also revealed that his new sound and brand is tailored to appeal to the Gen Z and Gen Alpha because it has been in the making for the past few years. Well, it's a wrap on News Hour, but before we go, a quick look at the headlines. First, we told you that the Senate has set up Oversight Committee for Rivers Administrator. Also, Kanu's family slams media over trial misrepresentation. Senate to consider tax reform bills report on Wednesday. And Senate moves to convoke a national security summit. Secure data sharing key to Africa's growth, says VP Shetima. On the foreign scene, we told you that Canada is never for sale, Carney tells Trump. In business, government CBN deposits rise 46% to 24.9 trillion naira. And in entertainment, Eurostar earns platinum certification in UK with Rush. In sports, Eagles coach targets 3 points against Kenya. Do also subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People TV. On other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. I am Vivian Oguche, and thank you for watching.